final quarter begins right now.
Welcome to the final quarter on CBS 8 Plus. I'm Karthik Venkataraman. That's a spooky Jake Garriani with the spooky Halloween tie. I could only dress up in white as a ghost because that's I didn't even mean for that to be intentional. Jake, why don't you talk about your spookiness that you got going?
I mean, it's not very spooky. It's just an orange tie on a black shirt. But yes, we are recording on Halloween, so I thought I'd fit the theme, man. I'd jump right into this.
I like it. You do fit the theme. Hey, you want to talk about a team that's been scary good? San Diego FC has been playing super well so far this year. They won their first ever playoff match against Portland in the first round of the MLS Cup playoffs, and now they're looking to get the job done in this 3-game series by winning Game 2 on Saturday at 6:30 p.m. So Jake Garriani, the question's as easy as this. Do they get it done?
Yeah, I think they do. This team's playing just on another level. They've beaten Portland now 2 straight. I don't see why they don't make it 3 straight. And they really dominated most of their matches against Portland. I know the first one was the 0-0 tie here in San Diego. But then you talk about the regular season finale, the 4-0 victory up there in the Pacific Northwest where they're going for this game too. And then the first playoff game, they took control really early, right? Scored those first 2 goals in the first half. Looked really, really solid. And then at that point, they kind of had to do something they don't really do that often, and that's fall back into a defensive mode because Portland got that red card, 2 yellows that led to the red. There was really no reason for SDFC to play their super aggressive style of football. So you saw them get a little bit out of what they do, I think, but that's just because they came out and dominated early. I really can't find a way that Portland gets on top of SDFC in this series at all, Karthik. I think with Chucky Lozano coming back, which Mikey Varis mentioned he would be coming off of the bench in this second game after serving that self-discipline punishment, sitting out the season finale, and of course game 1 of this. I just think the SDFC is way, way too powerful. That guy right there is right in the mix for MVP. He's been doing it all year long. I think they take it in 2.
I think San Diego FC gets it done, but I will say I've been a little concerned over the last matches that I watched against Portland, and you'd say I'm stupid because they've won by aggregate score of 6-1 during those the last 2 matches. But Portland has had some opportunities to put some in the back of the net. They scored one in that last match. You saw a little bit of video right there of some opportunities they had in the second half of that match, and even in the 4-0 one, they had some opportunities early to find the back of the net. If they are able to get in a couple, does that change the dynamic of this game at all? Do I think they're going to get a couple in the back of the net? The answer is no. I'm just saying if they do, could make things interesting. But San Diego,
did you just spend 30 seconds talking yourself out of that?
Pretty much. I mean, I was never trying to talk myself into it to begin with, but that would be my only concern. Portland has found some open space to potentially go and score. They haven't done it. We'll see if San Diego FC is able to come out of it. All right, Anders Dreyer, he scored in this match, as you mentioned. Jake, I got a chance to sit down with him one-on-one. You know, he's not happy quite yet with what he's been able to do for San Diego FC.
I think I have even more to show you guys, but also to show my teammates and all the guys out here and the fans in San Diego. And I just hope to keep putting a smile on faces to people watching us, and I hope that they enjoy the way, of course, the way I play, but also the way the team play.
What is that more?
Hopefully more goals, more assists, and trophies. Like I said in the beginning, trophies is what you're looking back at when you end your career, and winning something with a team, I think it's different. I tried it in Denmark, and you always keep that group you won with together in some way. So I hope we can achieve that here with this group, and because I think we can do it.
It's so funny. I talked to him, and he's like, I need to do more. And I'm like, you need to do more than contribute for over half of your team's total goals this year. I mean, the guy's awesome. Before I get your thoughts, Jake, I do want to mention, if you go on CBS 8 Plus, you can find our long-form series, Whatever It Takes, on Anders Dreyer and his amazing season that he's had so far. I talked to him about his childhood, everything. So anything besides that, you definitely watch that. It was a good piece. But, Jake, I want to get your thoughts on this dude, man. He has been absolutely incredible, and it seems like every single time the big moment comes up, Dreyer delivers.
If there wasn't a guy named Lionel Messi in the league, he's the MVP. There's no doubt about it. What Anders has done for SDFC and MLS as a total has been unbelievable. And I think, Karthik, early on in SDFC's history, we all thought Chucky Lozano was going to be what Anders Dreyer has been for SDFC. And that's no knock on Chucky, but he hasn't been healthy. He obviously served some of the self-disciplinary things. Anders has been every bit of what a DP should be for an MLS franchise. He has done it all on the pitch. Helping with goals, assists, goal scoring. Everything he has done has helped SDFC to this unbelievable year. And Karthik, people have talked about, well, now that this series moves up to Portland in Game 2, that could be hindrance on SDFC, but I don't think it is. This team's been better on the road than they have been at Snapdragon Stadium all year long anyways. In fact, before that first win in the playoffs against Portland, they hadn't won a home match at Snapdragon in MLS in over 3 months. So the fact that they got that done in that Game 1 was huge. But to wrap it up, Anders Dreyer is the league. He is the leader of this team. He's been a baller in this league. He's the MVP in my mind. I know Lionel will win it, but I love everything Anders has done, Karthik.
Yeah, Anders has been absolutely spectacular. And you did mention, they haven't been great at home. Well, if they get through Portland, which we expect them to do, every single match would potentially be at home up until the MLS Cup final. So we'll see how that goes for San Diego FC. All right, Jake, let's move on to our other professional San Diego soccer team in action right now. Let's talk about the San Diego Wave real quick. This is their final regular season match, and for them, I'm glad for them they've already locked up a playoff spot because they're going up against the best team in the NWSL to close out the regular season in the KC Current. But they have the potential to get as high as the 3 seed going into the playoffs if they were able to come out with a win in this one and maybe get a little bit of help there, Jake. What are your thoughts on the Wave right now as we enter the playoffs, and maybe not so much about their seeding because we know that they're going to get in, but as they get in to go?
Jonas Eidevall's done a really good job with this team this year, in my opinion. That guy right there, because he's really steadied the ship. Coming out of the gates, Wave looked untouchable. They were really, really dominant. And then they went through a brutal patch of the season where they were really close to missing the postseason for a little bit. At least it felt like it. They weren't scoring at all. And I thought Eidevall did a good job of just keeping everybody steady, keeping everybody on the pace. And now to me, Karthik, it's really come down to this. We talk about expectations all the time. And I'm glad that we have a franchise in our city like San Diego Wave where the expectation is make the playoffs every single year. They've done that, but now it's what can you do for me here? The playoffs, all roads look like they're going to lead to Kansas City, who's just been a juggernaut this entire season in NWSL. San Diego Wave will obviously face Kansas City for the series season finale, rather. But to me, I can't wait to see what this team can do in the postseason because that old cliche, they're battle-tested, Karthik. They've been through the ups and downs this season. Kansas City, not so much. They've won just about everything.
Yeah, this is going to be a good measuring stick for them, I think, too, Jake. You're going up against the best team in the league right before the playoffs. This is where you need to know what it is going to take to go and try and win the whole entire thing. We'll see if they're able to do so. I'm excited to see if they're able to do so. And I see we're gonna just try and figure out how many goals they can score. I think that's going to be the big measuring stick of what this team's able to do. They played against Utah, they played against Chicago, both two of the worst teams in the NWSL, and they scored a lot of goals in those games. Can they do it against top-tier competition? We're going to figure out in this final regular season match and moving on. All right, let's move on to San Diego State Athletics, and we'll start with the football team, Jake. A lot of hubbub talk around San Diego, whether this team should have been an AP top 25 team for everything they've been doing recently, how well they've been playing. Before I get your thoughts, let's hear from head coach Sean Lewis.
I think after 5 straight wins, this team has earned their way into the top 25 now?
Hell yeah. Yeah, again, right, like if we're talking about it as a voter, right, who are the top 25 teams in the country, we're one of them, right? People have been taking notice. We've been receiving more and more votes. Like, hey, 6-1, bowl eligible, big rivalry win. Show me 24 other teams that are better than us. I'll wait.
Okay, so that was after they beat Fresno State and thumped them. But my thing that I got out of this, name 24 teams better than us. It kind of sounds like Lewis is saying they're the best team in the country. Love the confidence. Either way, Jake, should this team be a top 25 team right now?
Hell yes, as Sean Lewis would say. Yeah, love the confidence from their head coach. Really, to answer this question, I'm going to say it doesn't matter, Karthik, because this team, if they take care of business that's in front of them, and I know, again, that's another cliche, but this one's true. Like, you take care of the business that is in front of San Diego State's football program, they will be in the top 25 come the end of the season. This defense has been the most impressive thing I've watched at San Diego State in a long, long time, and it was unexpected for me. I know you talk about them getting a lot of players back, the Trey Whites and some some guys like that came back to this program, even though they could have left easily. Those guys have stepped up so much this year. This defense is one of, and I can say this with confidence, one of the top 25 defenses in the country, which is why this team should be in the top 25. They have played unbelievably well. And honestly, Karthik, I look at that. Look, Sean Lewis would slap me for saying this, but I've looked at the rest of the schedule. The Boise State game is what stands between San Diego State in a serious look at the Mountain West Championship game, in a serious look, and yes, I'm saying it, at the college football playoff.
Yeah, let's take a look at that upcoming schedule real quick. We have it for you of what's coming up for them. And we talk about, Wyoming, Hawaii, I know a lot of people are talking about a trap game. It's 8 p.m. at night. It's in Hawaii. It's a beautiful place to play, but, it is kind of a tough place to travel with the time change. Go over there, play late at night against the Rainbow Warriors. And then is that big game you talked about, Jake, against Boise State. But if you look at the schedule, do you see more potential for trap? Yeah, I know you just kind of, hyped them up that we could be getting to the Mountain West Conference title game, but do you see potential for trap, or do you see potential to run the table here?
I think if this was a really offensive-heavy team and their defense was kind of relying on the offense, that's where I worry about trap games. When you have a great defense like San Diego State does, those trap games usually don't come into play because the defense keeps you in those games so much, especially against a lot of those lesser opponents that are on their schedule coming up. So if it was like, hey, this team's got to score 40 points every week to win football games, then I'd be a lot more worried about a trap game. But to me, because of how strong that defense is for the Aztecs, I got no worries about trap game. To me, it's all about, can you beat Boise State? And again, I'd get kicked in the face if Sean Lewis heard me saying this because he's going to take it one game at a time. But can you beat Boise State, and can you get a win in that Mountain West Championship game? That's what I'm thinking about with the Aztecs football team. You
keep mentioning the defense. They are ranked statistically amongst the tops, especially when it comes to scoring defense. They've pitched 3 shutouts this year so far. This defense is the real deal when you talk about this team. I do worry a little bit about their offense and what they're able to get going. I feel like their running game oftentimes stabilizes stuff, and they're able to get those quick hitters that can kind of get you some points. But if you watch that Fresno State game, sometimes it felt like they were having a little trouble getting it done on offense. Their defense did help them out quite a bit. And you got to give a shout out to Gabe Placencia, the kicker who keeps on kicking, can't miss. Most consecutive field goals in Mountain West Conference history, sitting at 25 right now. He's been absolutely incredible. If this team can continue, as you said, though, to play defense, we're talking about something serious. Because if we do get to the end of the year and they're in the Mountain West Conference title game, presumably playing a team like UNLV, and they get the job done, it would be, right there. One lost team, won their conference as an outlaw, as one of those, those not Power 5 conference teams, if you will, getting into the playoffs. Very realistic, very right there, and especially when you see teams like USF, Memphis not playing as strong, stumbling, even though a team like USF has some very quality wins this year. Things could be really looking well for the Aztecs, Jake.
It'll be interesting. Their best win, if they do run the table, will be Cal, skunking Cal, which was a great victory, and then the Boise State, and obviously a title game. So their resume will be an interesting look when it comes to that. Obviously getting ahead of ourselves here. I know people don't want to hear us talk that deep into the future.
But it's becoming a reality. But it's maybe not what we thought, but this team definitely thought that this would happen, Jake. I mean, they talked about it, and then they made us believe it.
Hey, Sean Lewis said it from the jump that he wanted to be in the college football playoff, and I'm not going to lie. I literally laughed out loud. I laughed out loud at him. And again, I love to admit when I'm wrong. And I'm wrong a lot, but I was dead wrong on this one. It is a reality. It's something we are actually having to talk about because of what he has built there. So, I mean, big shout out to what the Aztecs have done. 3 shutouts this year for their defense already. And again, including one over Cal. It's just been impressive so far this year. Can't stumble, though, as you mentioned. Can't stumble.
5 games to go in the regular season. We'll see what happens with the Aztecs. Hey, Aztecs men's hoops already about to get into action again, Jake. November 4th against Long Beach State. The regular season begins. Can you believe basketball's here? Because I certainly can. It feels like this year's absolutely flying by. They've played 2 preseason games so far this year, Jake. One against UCLA. Preseason top 15 team, once against the University of San Diego. Hasn't been so good at basketball lately. Jake, what have your thoughts been about this team as the preseason's wrapped up and the regular season's right around the corner?
Just in the little bit of time I've been able to spend around this team and go to some of their exhibition games, the depth is unbelievable on this roster. The job that Brian Dutcher and San Diego State did to get a lot of these big-time players back and add to a roster in this world of NIL and transfer portal and yada, 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 this team has a legit shot to make a deep run in March because of the depth on this roster. They've got 2 freshmen that don't look like freshmen at all in Tay Simmons and LZ Harrington. They've got you get Reese Dixon Waters back. You got Magoon Gwath back. expectations are through the roof for me when you're talking about what San Diego State's basketball team could accomplish this year, and it is all about not only just good depth, but really, really talented depth, Karthik. I have massive expectations for this team this year.
Yeah, head coach Brian Dutcher's been saying it all along. I've got so many guys, I don't know how I'm going to play.
Yeah.
It's a good problem to have because he says in recent years depth has been an issue for this team, but we're talking a guy like Miles Heide who got major minutes last year in a lot of places off the bench. How much is he actually going to be playing this year when I'm seeing guys like Odin come out there? You're going to see Magoon Guath. You can go down the list. They've got dudes on this roster at the guard position. They got dudes at the forward position. They've got dudes. We haven't seen Magoon Guath in the preseason. We really haven't seen much of Miles Bird through the preseason. He didn't play in that USD game, played limitedly in that UCLA game. Those were two major pieces from last year. And then Reese Dixon-Waters, you mentioned him. He's been playing phenomenal. 19 points, a game high against UCLA. Then he scores 17 against UCLA. Maybe looking like that guy who could be the first team Mountain West Conference player that he was expected to be last year. They've added pieces. They've gotten guys back, and they're going to have guys taking a step from last year to this year. I don't often like to be the guy that's just like, because a team's returning a lot of players, they're naturally just going to be good. I'm feeling like just because of what they've added, plus the guys that are coming back and the steps that I expect, like a guy like Magoon Guath, who was Freshman of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year and everything. He's on the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar watch list. I'm excited to see what this team's going to do, Jake.
They're unbelievably talented this year, and it is all because of the people they got back, the people they added, everything you just mentioned. I mean, the Farrell Comptons, the DeGorvilles. The roster really is endless for Brian Dutcher. You obviously know the guy leading the ship knows what he's doing. It's really, to me, going to be about how March goes for them. And again, everyone's going to say, don't get ahead of yourselves, but the expectations for this team better be a run in March.
And now they're starting to get the name, image, and likeness money, too. I know they've been going big there, but Chase Fisher donating $5 million. And if they can continue on paths where they get major donors like that moving forward, San Diego State can compete with the best of them, and I know they've already built a national brand when it comes to college basketball, but if they can continue to do this and help with their attainment, that's going to be very big moving forward. All right, Jake. That's all we had in this show on the final quarter on CBS 8+. Catch me, Jake, and John on CBS 8+ for a multitude of things. We told you about the Whatever It Takes series. Jake's put a lot of great interviews on there as well. John contributes with some content. And of course, you can always go watch this show, and you can find us on CBS8.com, on our YouTube page. Jake, they can find us on our social media. They can find us anywhere, man. We are everywhere. Jake, leave them with some thoughts.
We're everywhere. Have a wonderful, wonderful Halloween. Hopefully when we come back next week, we're talking about SDFC. Well, we will be talking about SDFC in the next round and plenty more. Be safe out there. Great Halloween. Much love.
Appreciate y'all.